everybody. You're looking live on tape from another gorgeous day here in Central Florida. Today I'm coming to you live on tape from Tudor Lane in EPCOT's England Pavilion. Had a thought. I saw some comments from Bob Iger about the state of the parks and the attendance figures, and said that while they had come a long way, putting a lot of resources and energy into the parks, that there was still a lot more to be done. So I thought, I think I'll do a series highlighting each park, what I think they do great and what I think they can do better. And this will be the first part of this, starting here in EPCOT. Thanks for joining me. Glad you did. Let's get to it. Now, one great perk about EPCOT, a couple things. It is a big theme park. Now, I know by area that Animal Kingdom is the largest park, but here we are on a Friday in July. Even with all the hustle and bustle, England Pavilion's pretty empty. Second great thing about EPCOT is the live entertainment. Now, this covered gazebo here looks mild-mannered enough, but they have a classic rock band that plays here, and the schedule's weird. I can't ever find it online, but sometimes they'll be playing in the evenings around 5 o'clock. I talked to somebody about it one time to try to pin down a schedule, and the cast members themselves really didn't know. But you've got this stage, you've got, of course, the American Gardens Theater, which showcases the Eat to the Beat, as well as the Garden Rocks concert series, which are always great and fun and included with your park admission. And there's also a third large stage near the point of entry, kind of right past Spaceship Earth toward World Showcase Lagoon, that I've seen giant shows there, especially during the holidays. I saw a band that, I kid you not, had 25 people in it. Horns and drums and dancers and everything else. So, live entertainment. EPCOT really does a good job with it. Another great thing about EPCOT are the festivals. Now, we're in kind of a downtime between festivals. Flower and Garden just wrapped up. Food and Wine is on the way, as evidenced here by this Ireland booth coming soon. But as a local who hits the parks quite a bit, the festivals are a welcome change to the parks. A lot of times they'll have plenty of new items to try, as well as old favorites. And it keeps the parks fresh, especially, obviously, EPCOT. That's why I also love seeing the seasons come and go, but most particular to EPCOT, the fluidity of changing between the festivals keeps it nice and fresh, so they do a great job of that. Pretty much have 4 festivals throughout the year. You have the Festival of the Arts, you have the Flower and Garden, you have Food and Wine, and wrap it up with Festival of the Holidays, all of which have their own individual merits. But as far as festivals go, EPCOT is doing a great job. One definite negative for EPCOT right now is not using all the available real estate. Take this for example. It's this World Discovery building here. It sits vacant most of the year. During festivals, they might have pop-ups inside there. I know that Brew Wing will be here for Food and Wine again this year with a Muppet. Let me try this one more time. I swear I haven't had a drink. A Muppet theme, which I'm looking forward to seeing. But I mean, there's nothing you could keep in that building year round. They did have some photo ops in there at one point, I remember, and old school Disney fans will remember the delicious flavored popcorn, including buffalo blue cheese, that they sold out of there as well. Now, if you can kind of see it right in front of Guardians of the Galaxy, that gold dome building, that thing's been empty for years. And then on the other side, where we just walked through Canada, they have another building that they sometimes use for festivals. They used it a lot during COVID because it's a huge indoor space. And they've also done the popcorn bucket, like the Figment buckets were coming out of that area as well. But just a lot of buildings, and it's a better view of that gold dome there. But a lot of buildings that aren't being used, which you got the buildings, you got a ton of IP. Put something in there, Epcot, come on. So right now, I've mentioned a lot of great things about Epcot and a few things they could do better. But I think I would be remiss by not saying the number one thing that's wrong with Epcot right now, or that needs to be fixed. It's been way too long, are these construction walls everywhere. They have been working on this park, or this structure up here that includes Moana's Journey of Water. They've been working on this for, it's got to be at least 3 years. And they've reconfigured the corridors. It's like you're walking in a big hallway, all these walls. And they've shifted it, you know, as the construction progresses. And it seemed like there for a couple weeks, it was like there was a new way to get into the park almost, right after you pass Spaceship Earth. At first they had you going right beside guest services, then they kind of had you funneled through creations, and it was kind of confusing. But walking through what used to be a beautiful area of the park, and now it's just literally construction walls. Monorail, but it's a good picture, but it's disappointing. You know, I know it's hard to, construction projects can take a lot longer than anticipated. I get all that part, but I think if you'd have told the leadership, hey, this park's gonna be under heavy construction for 3+ years, they probably, if they're being honest with you, would reconsider, or at least have a better systematic approach to it. Another huge win for Epcot is currently my #1 attraction in all 4 parks, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It is so good and so much fun, and it felt like this ride came to be pretty quick. I think they were built in about a year, and then you add that to Remy's over on the other side. You got 2 pretty much brand new attractions that are both great. Obviously Remy being a little bit more family friendly, and then Guardians kind of satisfied that thrill element that, you know, frankly I thought Epcot was missing. They do have Test Track, of course, and Soarin', but that was kind of always the knock on Epcot. It's a bit better view of that building, that gold building that's not being used right now. But I always thought that, you know, there was kind of Epcot was a little bit limited in their attraction selection, so adding this incredible roller coaster and then a family-friendly Remy's Ratatouille Adventure on the other side of the park, I thought it was a clear home run. And again, it just blows my mind that they were able to build probably the most technically advanced ride, I'm sure, at any Disney park up to date, in less time it's taken them to redo that front of that area behind Spaceship Earth with the Moana's water adventure through water, or whatever it's called. So home run on the 2 new rides for sure. Now, you've heard me quite often talk about the hack that I use when I come to EPCOT, especially if I know I'm going to be spending the majority of my day in International Showcase, and that is I park at Hollywood and skyline over. The parking here at EPCOT as of late has been not great. So another major ding. Sorry, it's gonna be loud. I'm right beside a test track. Where are the trams? They, pre-COVID, they invested a lot of money in redoing the tram stations and the tram stops here at EPCOT. And yet here we are, again, 3 years later, no trams. So for example, like today is about 94 degrees. I mean, I'm just steadily rolling sweat. That should be louder. Fleeing test track zone. But depending on how busy it is, you might be parking way past the split in the parking lot or in the back corner, and before you're even in the park, you've got about a mile in you. So bring back the trams, man. I don't understand why you spend all the money, and I don't know if it's a staffing issue or they don't feel they need them. Right now, the only two parks that are utilizing the trams are Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, which, to be fair, Hollywood is pretty close parking, so that's not a huge issue for me personally. But EPCOT, man. So that's definitely a ding. I would definitely consider Creations a win. A lot of people, you know, that's the hard thing with Disney. People get really attached to certain things. This replaced mouse gears, and everybody, you know, it's funny how time will change someone's memories. It kind of romanticized how great mouse gears was. I think Creations is much better. It's definitely bigger. It's got a sleek, modern look. Great selection. So I definitely consider this a win. This happened during COVID as well, or right post-COVID is when this reopened for the first time. And then the Connections restaurant, kind of on the other side of this shop. To be honest, I've never eaten there because it always looks crazy intense in there. I know they have mobile order, and maybe I'll do that one day, but it's quick service, and I've had plenty of quick service, and especially if you're at EPCOT, there's way better food that you can get, which is another win for EPCOT, the dining. Between the festival booths and some really good restaurants that are here. And don't get me wrong, there are some duds. Mexico is not my favorite. The Sun and Hell Inn, definitely not a favorite. But Chefs of France was great. You always hear great things about Le Cellier. I have not eaten Beer Garden, but I would like to. So dining here is definitely a win. And then you're never gonna believe it news. The Disney Nike Polo has been found since the first day. Those are $80. Of course I had to get one. But that's all I see is that little rack right there. I have looked for that shirt since the 100th, so it's in Creations. If you see this video, there might be some left, but you know how that goes. That large pyramid you see is Journey into Imagination, starring Figment, and I'm going to give that a ding. I saw an interview with the guy that was the lead Imagineer for that attraction. It was kind of funny because he got visibly pissed when asked about it. It's a horrible attraction. There are a ton of people that love Figment. I'm not one of them. Yes, I do have the Figment popcorn bucket. You can scroll back and look at one of my, I think the title of the videos. I'm not sure why I bought this, but I guess it was a bit of FOMO, I don't know, but that attraction could be a lot better. And that's basically with the, his name escapes me, but he said that the original plan and idea is nothing what ended up in the park. That's a shame. I'm not saying you got to get rid of it, but a refurb, absolutely. So I did just stumble upon this, that British band I was talking about. It's called Command Performance, and those are your times. Could have sworn the cast member told me it was only certain days, so I haven't seen any days listed on that, but there you go. Ask and you shall receive. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Just some kind of final thoughts and overall recap of the best and worst of EPCOT. Best of EPCOT are the festivals, the dining and beverage selections, the shopping, the 2 new attractions, and it's probably the park I come to the most. The biggest detractors on EPCOT is, without far and away, the construction. It's been under construction for 3+ years. Got to get that figured out. The parking is awful, no tram, and they will park you way out in left field, if you know what I mean. One thing I did mention, and this is, I've mentioned this in previous vlogs, while every country in World Showcase has a fantastic gift shop, there's but one that I feel is truly horrible, and that's the US. It's a kiosk, and it has had the same merchandise in it for the better part of, it seems like, a year. Canada has a kiosk, and they always rotate new merch in and out, and it's all pretty cool. The US, for some reason, gets no love. It's a shame. I'm not saying you need a whole store, but at least something, at least get some good merch in there. But that's about it. I think if you fix the construction issue, the tram issue, update Figment, and fix the American gift shop, the US gift shop, I think EPCOT would be a home run. It was kind of one of those parks where when I lived out of town, we may have spent half a day here prior to Remy and Guardians opening, but now with those added attractions, it's definitely a full day, especially when there's a festival going on. Get to try a bunch of food for pretty fair pricing, I would call it, and the live entertainment as well, all throughout the day. So EPCOT, a little bit of work could get where it needs to be, but that's one man's opinion, best and worst of EPCOT. Stay tuned in the coming weeks, and I'm going to hit up Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood as well. Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you did. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you hated what you saw, blame the fact that it's about 95 and 90% humidity today. It is a scorcher out here. Always, folks, keep the parks clean.